Why is the Munster Rebellion considered a radical movement? If you're curious about one of the most dramatic and radical events in European history, you're in the right place. Let's explore why the Munster Rebellion stands out as a particularly radical movement. The Munster Rebellion took place in the 16th century, specifically in 1534, in the city of Munster, Germany. This event was closely tied to the Protestant Reformation, which was a time of significant religious and social change. The Anabaptists, a radical Protestant sect, were at the heart of this rebellion. One key reason this rebellion was so radical is the way the Anabaptists took control of Munster. Led by Jan Matthias, they seized the city and declared it the New Jerusalem, expelling all non-Anabaptists and mandating adult rebaptism for those who remained. Refusal to comply meant death, which was a stark departure from the usual practices of the time. Under Matthias's leadership, the Anabaptists introduced a radical social order. They abolished money and private property, declaring all goods to be communal. This was a drastic change from the traditional social and economic structures of the time. Food and other essential items were shared among the community, and monasteries were looted to redistribute wealth. After Matthias's death, Jan van Leiden took over and declared himself king. His rule was marked by brutality and authoritarianism. He instituted polygamy, taking 16 wives, and executed anyone who dissented against his rule. This level of dictatorial control and the practice of polygamy were highly unusual and contributed to the rebellion's radical nature. The rebellion was also notable for its military and social isolation. The city was under siege by Catholic forces led by Bishop Franz von Waldeck for over a year. Despite the dire conditions, including disease and famine, the Anabaptists defended their city until it was finally conquered in June 1535. The siege's brutal end with public torture and execution of the leaders further underscored the radical and violent nature of the conflict. The aftermath of the rebellion was equally severe. The leaders, including Jan van Leiden, were subjected to public torture and execution, and their bodies were displayed in metal cages on the church steeple as a grim warning to any future rebels. This harsh response reflected the deep concern of both Catholic and Protestant authorities about the threat posed by such radical movements. In summary, the Munster Rebellion was considered radical due to its extreme social and religious reforms, the violent and authoritarian leadership, and the severe consequences that followed. These factors combined to make it one of the most significant and radical events of the Protestant Reformation.